Are you looking to PCS to Andrews Air Force Base or Joint Base Andrews, and you just have no clue what you're getting into? Watch this video and I'm going to give you some ideas of what it's going to be like when you PCS to Andrews Air Force Base. All right, what's up everybody? This is Schou and I'm with EXP Realty in Maryland. And if you're looking to move to Maryland and especially looking to PCS to Andrews Air Force Base or Joint Base Andrews or even down to Patuxent River Naval Air Station, make sure you use that contact information below. Call me, text me, whatever you want, and I'd be happy to help you make that move a heck of a lot easier. All right, and also if you want, you can scroll down to the first comment, click on that link, and it will schedule a Zoom meeting one-on-one with me, and we can talk about your home buying needs. And last but not least, if you find this and all the other content I do helpful, make sure you click that subscribe button, click the little bell so you're notified every single time that I put out new content, and also so I know that you like the content I'm putting out. All right, so like I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about Joint Base Andrews or Andrews Air Force Base and kind of the things to know before you go. So we're going to start out, we're going to look at it on Google Maps, then we're going to go into the different regions of Maryland and kind of the price points of each one and which one's more expensive, which one's least expensive, and then just some of the things you can do around Andrews Air Force Base as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, what I want to talk about first is kind of the general area. So if you look on the screen right now, I'm showing you Andrews Air Force Base and it's down here. And if you look, Andrews Air Force Base is really close to Washington, D.C. It's really close to Washington, D.C. It's also not far from Anne Arundel County, which is this area over here on the water. You have Annapolis, which is the state capital. And so it's kind of centrally located on the western shore of Maryland. You can see it right there, right off of 495. So it really does open up the different places you can choose to live. Now, one thing I will say before I even get into different areas you can live in Maryland, Joint Base Andrews is known for having different options for base housing. Not only can you stay at Joint Base Andrews, there's other housing options at other bases you can explore. So if you're looking for base housing, I highly recommend contacting the people that you're working with to let them know that, because there's a lot of options to do that. Now, if you're looking to rent or you're looking to buy, this information I'm about to tell you is going to be super helpful. So make sure you stay tuned. Okay, so looking back at the map now, we're looking at Joint Base Andrews right here in the center. Now, if we go up this all right here, all this area that I'm kind of moving around, that'd be considered the capital region of Maryland. Now, because it's so close to Washington, D.C., because the commutes are a lot easier, these prices in most areas tend to skew higher than other areas in Maryland. Now, you're paying higher prices because it's more convenient. On average, an average size home is pushing about $400,000 to $500,000 in these areas, with average rent being about $2,500 according to niche.com. Now, going down south of Andrews is a place now where people are starting to look more and more because it's a little bit more affordable. So right here, if you look, Joint Base Andrews, and we go down south, this is Charles County, this area here, and right here is one of the areas that a lot of people that live or that work at Joint Base Andrews commute down to, and that's Waldorf. It's a pretty built up area in actual, in southern Maryland. You can see there's tons of different developments. There's along the strip of 301. There's lots of different stores and restaurants and stuff like that. But if you get outside of Waldorf, there's a lot of nature. You can see it on here. It's not as suburban when you get outside of it. And going a little bit further south, you could even go down to a place called Plata. And Plata is kind of like, I wouldn't say a mini Waldorf, but it's a smaller population than Waldorf. And you can see, again, it's built up around 301. You have your Lowe's and your Walmart and stuff like that right on this main route right here, 301. But then there's even more space to spread out. So this is kind of unique being this close to Andrews and being able to get down to Waldorf or get down to La Plata and still have some country to kind of spread your legs out and enjoy yourself. Now, another area that more people are starting to move to is this area of northern kind of PG County, Charles County, all this area in here. Dunkirk, Owings, Chesapeake Beach. These are all areas that people are talking about when they're coming to Andrews. Now, compared to Waldorf, Dunkirk and Owings and Chesapeake Beach are going to be more expensive, apples to apples. But you know, you're getting a bigger lot, most likely. You're getting able to spread out a little bit more, but you're trading that too with a little bit longer commute. So that's just kind of one of those things you really have to get out and see and decide if it's right for you. Now, going down Route 4, some people will take this. It's about an hour. So looking at Joint Base Andrews, you could really be anywhere in these areas here, going down Route 4. You know, the further you get down this route, Route 4, you know, into California, Maryland, which is the northern part of St. Mary's County, you're looking at an hour-and-a-half commute. So most people will stay either in this northern Charles County, you know, this northern St. Mary's with Charlotte Hall, Mechanicsville, Hughesville, which is actually Charles County, or Waldorf. And of course, too, people always are in this Anne Arundel County over here, and also up into the capital region. But like I said earlier, it can just be more expensive to be in those areas. All right, and so like I said, and I kind of hinted on it a little bit, if you're going south of Andrews Air Force Base, generally, according to niche.com, you're gonna have a better chance of finding a less expensive house than if you're going north of Andrews Air Force Base. So that southern Maryland region, which is Charles County, St. Mary's County, and Calvert County, have cheaper property prices than the other region north of it, which is the capital region. You can also look over in the Eastern Shore, which does have lower property prices for the most part, but you're going over the Bay Bridge and paying a toll every day, and fighting traffic too if it's a weekend in the summer where you're fighting beach traffic. So a lot of people that work at Andrews really choose to either stay around there in that capital region and bite the bullet and pay the higher property prices in exchange for being able to be close to DC, close to Annapolis, and a shorter commute. But then other people now are really saying, hey, I want my money to go a little bit further. I'll go ahead and go south of Andrews Air Force Base and be right there in that southern Maryland region. All right, so just to highlight, if you're at Andrews Air Force Base too, there's some really neat things to do around Andrews Air Force Base itself, whether you're in the capital region or the southern Maryland region. One of the biggest things around Andrews Air Force Base I think is really neat is the fact that you're right there by the Capitol. So if you're someone coming from outside of DC, outside of Maryland, you may never have been to the Capitol with your family. So going there and getting to see all the monuments, all the different things that are around there in the museums, and just experiencing it while you're PCSing here can be a really, really awesome experience. There's so many things to see. You can't see it all in one day, and you're probably going to want to come back multiple times to take it all in. Another big highlight of moving to Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland General is the Chesapeake Bay. Now, the Chesapeake Bay is one of the largest estuaries in the nation, and there's so many different opportunities to explore the waterfront around the Chesapeake Bay, whether it be by boat, kayak, canoe, paddleboard, you know, just walking shorelines, going to the beaches. It can be a great place to sightsee, to go fishing, to go crabbing. So I highly recommend that if you're someone that wants to be, you know, on the water, find a place near a marina, find a place near the Chesapeake Bay, and really enjoy yourself. Another outdoor thing that I think is really neat is the fact that the Appalachian Trail goes right by, right in Maryland for about 41 miles. And so if you're at Andrews, you can easily get there, hike up the C&O Canal, really enjoy yourself. It's an easy hike, pretty flat, pretty level, and there's lots of history around it too. And there's also tons of other hiking opportunities throughout Maryland. So if you're a hiker, you know, that Andrews Air Force Base area and the areas surrounding it can be great opportunities for you to get out and do that as well. All right, and so the last thing I want to highlight about PCSing to Andrews Air Force Base are the schools. The schools in Maryland rank high nationally just about every single year. Normally we're in about the top 5. So depending on the area you are, you should be in a pretty good school district. My recommendation is always to look at niche.com when you start narrowing down where you want to be and check out those school districts. It does a great job of ranking the school districts in the areas that you're looking and gives you a better idea of what the best fit may be for you. All right, so hopefully this information was helpful. If you have any questions or need any help, like I said, use that contact information below. Call me, text me, and I'd be happy to help you make your move so much easier. You can also scroll down to the first comment, click on that link, and it will schedule a Zoom meeting one-on-one with me where we can talk about your home buying needs. And last but not least, like I said, if this content was helpful and you want to see more of it, make sure you click the subscribe button, you click that bell so you're notified every single time we put out new content. Hope you have a great day. See you on the next video.